Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless Official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Billy and Jack seek to form a Kane takedown alliance. Jason Thompson's character Billy Abbott will form a takedown alliance with his brother in order to exact revenge on Kane Ashby. Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott will greet Traci Abbott warmly at the Abbott estate before providing updates on Billy's most recent dilemma. Traci will think back on their near romance when Kane wanted their friendship to grow more around 6 years ago, because there will also be a conversation regarding Kane's changes. Billy will be pushed to acknowledge that he is no longer involved by Kane, who will emphasize that there are too many variables on the train. Billy will provide some vindictive clues before leaving, but Kane will believe that Billy should focus on keeping Sally Spectre safe. Kane will send Michael to go after Billy and solve things because he will start to worry that Billy will ruin his plans. Before deciding to go out to dinner, Kane and Phyllis Summers will talk about some of their shared interests. Traci is going to meet Amy Lewis at Society, but Amy will message her to ask her to reschedule. When Michael is unable to persuade Billy not to exact revenge on Kane, Traci will have an opportunity to speak with him. When Kane and Phyllis get there, they'll go to the bar where Michael and Traci are sitting. After a charming reunion with Traci, Kane will corner Michael at the front door. Michael will assert that he has the Billy situation under control when Kane makes it apparent that he is depending on him to do so. Phyllis will raise an eyebrow at the connection between them as Kane goes back inside to catch up with Traci a little more. Billy will then surprise Jack and Diane at the Abbott house in Monday's episode of YNR. Billy will offer a bargain to Jack instead, stating that he has seen Kane's true nature and wants to defeat him together. Daniel Romalotti Jr. will update Tessa Porter in the coffee shop about his encounter with Mariah Copeland in the park, where she requested that he take care of Tessa and Aria Porter Copeland. Daniel will imply that Mariah could not be returning home. Tessa will discuss Mariah's treatment plan in Boston and how she revealed that she had attempted to kill someone without providing specifics. Daniel will admit that Mariah is not a monster like Ian Ward was after Tessa questions whether she is indeed dangerous. Tessa will wonder if she should investigate this further or let Mariah leave. Tessa will choose to look into the hotel where Mariah went on her work trip since she still loves her and doesn't want her to suffer in silence. Daniel will offer to accompany Tessa in the hopes that she would be able to speak with individuals there and get some answers regarding what transpired. Billy and Jack seek to form a Kane takedown alliance, and as this potential scheme takes shape, the atmosphere in Genoa City grows heavy with tension, layered with hidden motives, unresolved history, and simmering rivalries that threaten to explode at any moment. Jason Thompson's Billy Abbott finds himself circling a dangerous path as he envisions a united front with his brother, Peter Bergman's Jack Abbott, against Kane Ashby, a man whose manipulative streak has long tormented the Abbott family and whose charm often masks ruthless ambition. The Abbott estate becomes the backdrop for an intricate weaving of alliances, betrayals, and confrontations, beginning when Jack and Diane Jenkins Abbott greet Traci warmly upon her return. There's a rare warmth in the Abbott living room as Traci, the moral compass of the family, embraces her siblings, unaware that the threads of past and present grievances are about to tangle in ways that will test her loyalty. Jack, always the diplomat yet often drawn into corporate wars, provides her with updates on Billy's most recent dilemma, subtly hinting at the growing need for a strategic response to Kane's maneuvers. Diane, ever protective of her husband and deeply invested in maintaining stability within the Abbott household, weighs every word Jack utters, knowing all too well that Billy's volatility could either spark a breakthrough or ignite chaos. As Traci listens, her mind drifts back to her complicated history with Kane. 6 years ago, there was a fleeting moment when Kane had wanted their friendship to blossom into something deeper, an emotional bridge she hadn't been ready to cross, though she had treasured his sincerity. That memory now colors her perception of the man who has changed in ways she struggles to comprehend. Traci is not blind to Kane's darker instincts, but she recalls how genuine he once seemed, creating conflict in her heart as she considers whether Billy's vendetta is justified or if it's another reckless spiral into obsession. Meanwhile, Kane confronts Billy directly, attempting to push him into admitting he has no part in Kane's current ventures. Kane emphasizes that there are simply too many variables on the train, a metaphor Kane uses for the business and personal entanglements he has carefully constructed. Kane wants Billy to acknowledge his exclusion, to accept irrelevance, but Billy, never one to back down, drops cryptic, vindictive hints that leave Kane unsettled. Billy departs with an ominous air, and Kane quickly concludes that his adversary is more dangerous in the shadows than in the open. Believing Billy should focus on keeping Sally Spectra safe rather than waging war, Kane subtly undermines Billy's sense of priorities. Yet beneath that veneer of concern lies Kane's fear that Billy, driven by bitterness, will topple the carefully arranged dominoes Kane has stacked. To counter this, Kane enlists Michael Baldwin, instructing him to rein Billy in before his plans unravel. Kane knows Michael's reputation for negotiation and persuasion, and he trusts that if anyone can curb Billy's thirst for vengeance, it's Michael. Meanwhile, Kane himself seeks a distraction and perhaps a potential ally in Phyllis Summers. The two share cocktails and conversation, bonding over their overlapping interests and their shared history of manipulation and survival. Kane and Phyllis recognize in each other kindred spirits, calculating yet vulnerable, fiery yet weary of past mistakes. They toy with the idea of dinner, a casual outing laced with the possibility of more strategic undertones, because nothing in Genoa City ever stays on the surface for long. Elsewhere, Traci arranges to meet Amy Lewis at Society, a reunion she eagerly anticipates. However, Amy texts at the last minute, asking to reschedule. This unexpected gap in Traci's evening frees her for another fateful encounter. Michael, after failing to dissuade Billy from his quest for revenge, finds himself seated with Traci at the bar. Their conversation begins as a respite from the chaos but quickly deepens into shared concern over Billy's trajectory. Traci seizes this opportunity to appeal to Michael, urging him to understand that Billy's pain often fuels his recklessness and that sometimes what he needs is guidance, not opposition. Their dialogue is interrupted when Kane and Phyllis arrive at Society, sweeping into the bar with their usual flair. Kane quickly notices Michael and corners him at the front door, lowering his voice to remind him that Billy must be neutralized before he wreaks havoc. Michael insists he has the situation under control, but Kane's insistence betrays his desperation. Phyllis observes the exchange, her eyes narrowing as she begins connecting dots. What is the true nature of Kane and Michael's arrangement? Why does Kane rely on Michael with such urgency? Suspicion flickers in her sharp gaze as Kane returns to Traci, attempting to rekindle their old camaraderie. Meanwhile, Billy makes his move. In Monday's episode, he arrives at the Abbott house, catching Jack and Diane off guard. But instead of another round of reckless behavior, Billy shocks his brother with a proposition, a bargain, a truce, and a call to arms. Billy lays bare his conviction that Kane's charm is a facade, his business practices a web of deceit, and his friendship strategic manipulations. He appeals to Jack's loyalty to family, framing their potential alliance not as an indulgence of his grudges but as a necessary act of protection for the Abbotts. Jack, cautious yet intrigued, listens closely, his mind racing with the possibilities and risks. Diane interjects with warnings about escalation, but she sees in Billy's eyes a rare clarity that suggests this isn't just another impulsive scheme, it's a mission. The question now is whether Jack will tether his brother's fire with strategy or let him burn everything in pursuit of vengeance. While the Abbott brothers weigh their next move, the story branches into another emotional corner of Genoa City. Daniel Romalotti Jr. finds Tessa Porter at Crimson Lights and unburdens himself about his encounter with Mariah Copeland in the park. Mariah's request that Daniel watch over Tessa and Aria shakes them both, as it hints at Mariah's looming absence. Daniel subtly implies that Mariah may not be returning home, an ominous prospect that leaves Tessa rattled. Their conversation peels back layers of Mariah's ongoing struggles, particularly her treatment plan in Boston, where she confessed to having attempted to kill someone. Though she withheld details, the gravity of her revelation hangs in the air. Tessa, horrified yet unwilling to believe Mariah is beyond redemption, draws comparisons to Ian Ward, a monster from the past. Daniel reassures her, insisting Mariah is not cut from the same cloth, that her pain does not equate to evil. But Tessa remains torn. Should she dig deeper into Mariah's secrets, or respect her decision to disappear into treatment? her love compels her toward action. Determined to uncover the truth, Tessa decides to investigate the hotel where Mariah stayed during a recent work trip. Perhaps in that liminal space between her professional obligations and personal breakdown, answers can be found. Daniel, ever the steady presence, offers to accompany her, believing that together they might coax clarity from those who witnessed Mariah's unraveling. Their shared mission intertwines with the broader tapestry of Genoa city drama, a reminder that while corporate wars rage in the Abbott orbit, personal battles of love, loyalty, and redemption echo just as loudly in the hearts of others. As the week unfolds, the stage is set for explosive confrontations. Billy, emboldened by his alliance pitch to Jack, begins laying traps that force Kane to reveal his true nature. Jack, Diane, and Traci each grapple with their roles in this dangerous dance, questioning whether the pursuit of justice justifies the potential fallout. Kane, sensing the walls closing in, tightens his grip on Michael and tries to distract Phyllis with charm, though her instincts tell her to tread carefully. And in the background, the ripple effects of Mariah's secret and Tessa's determination to uncover the truth weave into the emotional landscape, ensuring that no corner of Genoa City is free from tension. With each character driven by a potent mix of fear, love, ambition, and vengeance, the coming days promise alliances forged in fire, betrayals carved in silence, and revelations that could permanently reshape the lives of the Abbotts, the Ashbys, and all who cross their paths. The Abbott mansion becomes the center of a storm as Billy presses his case to Jack, his voice sharpened by conviction and old wounds. Jack, Billy insists, leaning forward in his chair, eyes burning with intensity, you don't see what Kane's doing. He's smiling, shaking hands, pretending to be the man everyone trusts, but behind it all, he's pulling strings. He's dangerous. He's calculating. And if we don't stop him now, we'll regret it. Jack studies his brother carefully, measuring his words with that steady Abbott composure. Billy, he responds, cautious yet deliberate, I'm not dismissing your instincts. Kane has made mistakes, and God knows he's crossed lines. But rushing into this could destroy you, and this family. Diane sits nearby, folding her arms, her expression one of concern but also curiosity. She knows Billy too well, knows when his words are reckless versus when they stem from a deeper truth. Maybe Billy's right, Diane interjects softly. Sometimes it takes fire to fight fire. Kane has a way of slithering past accountability, maybe it's time someone exposes him. Jack turns to Diane, slightly unsettled by her willingness to validate Billy's vendetta, yet he cannot deny the flicker of truth in her words. Traci, meanwhile, has joined them, returning from society with lingering thoughts of her run-in with Kane. She lowers herself into a chair and sighs. I saw him tonight, she admits. He was charming, as always, but it felt off. Like he was trying too hard. And Michael, he was with him. Kane cornered him, pressed him for reassurance about Billy. Traci's words add weight to Billy's claims. Jack exhales heavily, the decision pressing on his shoulders. For Jack, family always comes first, but family also means tempering Billy's wild streaks with strategy. If we're going to do this, Jack finally says, his tone firm, we do it my way. No reckless moves. No half-baked plans. If Kane truly is manipulating everyone around him, then we'll expose him, methodically. Billy smirks, sensing a breakthrough. Fine. Your way. But don't think for a second I'm backing down. Kane's days of charming his way out of trouble are over. As the alliance forms, even if tentatively, Diane nods slowly, realizing the Abbott brothers are aligning not just against Kane but against a system that has too often allowed him to thrive. At the same time, Kane's paranoia grows. Back at his suite, he paces restlessly, replaying Billy's cryptic words. He doesn't trust Billy's silence, it feels like a threat in itself. Pouring a glass of bourbon, Kane picks up the phone and calls Michael again. You told me you had this under control, Kane snaps. Michael, sitting in his own living room, pinches the bridge of his nose in frustration. I do, Kane. But you need to understand, Billy isn't a man you can just silence. He's unpredictable. The more you push, the more he pushes back. Kane doesn't want excuses. Then make him stop. Distract him. Threaten him. I don't care. Just keep him from tearing down everything I built. Michael sighs. And what exactly have you built, Kane? Is it worth all this secrecy? All this panic? Kane doesn't answer directly, instead muttering, "You wouldn't understand. Just do your job." He ends the call abruptly, leaving Michael with a sense of unease. Kane's desperation reeks of something bigger, something hidden beneath the surface. Meanwhile, Phyllis finds herself mulling over the encounter at Society. She sits in her suite, a glass of wine in hand, replaying Kane and Michael's tense exchange. Her instincts, honed by years of navigating schemers and manipulators, tell her there's more to their partnership than they're letting on. She taps her phone, considering whether to dig deeper. Why is Michael Baldwin suddenly Kane's confidant, she muses aloud. And what the hell is Billy planning? Phyllis knows that inserting herself into the Abbott-Ashby feud could be risky, but risk has always been her playground. Across town, at Crimson Lights, Daniel and Tessa continue their late-night conversation, their worries about Mariah intertwining with their need for answers. "I can't stop thinking about what she said," Tessa whispers, her fingers nervously tracing the rim of her coffee mug. "She admitted she tried to kill someone, Daniel. That's not just stress or exhaustion, that's something dark." Daniel leans forward, his tone gentle but steady. "Mariah's not a monster. She's been through hell, and sometimes people break under the weight. But if she confided in you, even a little, it means she still trusts you. Maybe she wants you to help her, even if she doesn't know how to ask." Tessa wipes a tear from her eye, determination flickering behind the sadness. "Then I'll help her. I don't care how messy it gets. I'll find out what happened at that hotel. If Mariah's drowning in guilt, I won't let her drown alone." Daniel nods, silently vowing to protect Tessa from whatever truth lies ahead. Back at Society, Kane lingers with Traci, attempting to rekindle their old connection. "You know," he says smoothly, "things were simpler back then. When we talked about books, when we laughed. I miss that." Traci tilts her head, her expression soft but guarded. "I miss the simplicity too, Kane. But people change. You've changed." Kane chuckles, a flicker of unease in his eyes. "Have I? Or have people just decided I've changed because it suits their narrative?" Traci studies him, hearing the bitterness beneath his charm. "Maybe both," she replies softly. Kane forces a smile, but the tension lingers. When Kane excuses himself to take a call, Phyllis swoops in, sliding into Traci's booth with a mischievous grin. "So," she begins, her tone playful yet probing, "what exactly is going on between you and Kane? Old sparks, or something new?" Traci rolls her eyes, not amused. "It's nothing like that, Phyllis. It's complicated." Phyllis smirks knowingly. "Isn't it always?" She leans in closer, lowering her voice. "Word of advice, watch your step. Kane's got his hands in things he doesn't want anyone to know about. And if Billy's circling him like a shark, well, something's about to break wide open." Traci frowns, unsettled by Phyllis's warning. Meanwhile, Billy and Jack continue strategizing at the Abbott mansion. Jack insists they need evidence, not just accusations. "If we're going to bring Kane down," he says firmly, "we need proof, documents, witnesses, something that ties him to whatever scheme he's running. Otherwise, it'll just be your word against his, and Kane knows how to spin that to his advantage." Billy paces, restless but reluctantly conceding. "Fine. Proof. But how do we get it?" Diane, quietly observing, finally speaks up. "Kane underestimates you, Billy. Use that. Let him think he's rattled you. Let him slip up. People like Kane always do." Billy grins at his sister-in-law, appreciating her sharpness. "I like the way you think." Jack, however, is uneasy. He knows Diane is right, but he also knows the cost of playing this kind of long game. If they're not careful, they could all get pulled into Kane's spiral. The next morning, Kane makes a bold move of his own. He shows up at Chancellor Winters, striding through the lobby with the confidence of a man determined to stake his claim.